This is the STV News Good Evening. Today should have been the start of the UK government's job retention scheme, but instead it's the first day of a month-long furlough extension. Businesses in Scotland and the rest of the UK can continue to claim up to 80% of employee wages from the government until December, as Brandon Cook reports.
Since March, furlough has been a lifeline for businesses across the country. The scheme should have had its final hour last night.
The full-scale lockdown of March and April.
But the announcement of a national lockdown in England has sparked a month-long extension. Businesses in all 4 nations will have continued access. The move is welcomed by the owner of this bar in Aberdeen, but he feels the announcement could have been earlier.
It does give us a safety net, but it's, for me, I think what we would like to see is there's more clarity and more planning around this. It's no real use coming at this at the 11th hour and saying, yep, we can extend furlough for a month.
Meanwhile, there's concern furlough is available only during the English lockdown, and Scotland could miss out should there be greater restrictions in the coming weeks and months.
But I'm deeply concerned that the request that we made and Wales and Northern Ireland made a few weeks ago was refused. And what I would want from the Treasury is an agreement that furlough arrangements can be accessed by any part of the United Kingdom at any stage that we require them.
The Scottish Conservatives say they're seeking assurances from Number 10 that Scotland will still receive furlough support in the event of a Scottish lockdown.
If it's required to get on top of this virus, it shouldn't need to be a request from Scotland, it should be a guarantee that is available at any point.
The furlough scheme has helped up to 9.5 million employees since it was launched back in March, and whilst today's extension has been widely welcomed, the reality is many businesses are struggling. Paying wages is one thing, but reduced trading income and smaller cash reserves for utilities and rent is one other very big problem.
This is not like March and April time. Businesses have had an incredibly difficult 6 months. They have used up all the reserves, they have relied on emergency finance, they have used absolutely every trick in the book to stay afloat. So right now there is very little margin for error. So it's really important that any sort of restrictions that are imposed by government are backed up with commensurate help, because otherwise these businesses might not be seen in the new year.
The challenge in the meantime for many businesses is to plan exactly how to remain viable after this lifeline extension ends in December. Brandon Cook, STV News.